when we first met, you were internet marketing dude. Launches, lists, affiliate promotions, JV stuff. And then there was a day, I don't remember what day, but there was a day where it was like, checked out, done. I'm not doing that anymore. Now, honestly, at that time, I'm like, he's crazy. Why would he just leave this great source of income? Today, totally get it. Like, I'm there right next to you. I want nothing to do with it. But why did you do it, and what do you do now?
Yeah, so I call it this cosmic alarm clock. And this cosmic alarm clock goes off in different times. It's like, it's my daughter Zoe, who's 11 now. I remember way back when she was like 5, maybe 6, I can't remember. She really wanted a wiggly tooth because her older brother, Zach, was 2 years older, and he's had a wiggly tooth, but I think she was more interested in like the tooth fairy, like getting the cash, right? She's money motivated, Zach's not. But so she's like, I want a wiggly tooth. And it's kind of like, this, you can't, you don't know when it comes, but this cosmic alarm clock shows off and rings, and then it's like, you can either hit snooze or you can answer it. And very often it comes with the question, like, so I deal a lot with entrepreneurs, and because I've been through it and come back out the other side many times of this idea of, okay, now what? Right, so I call it the stage 3 entrepreneur. It's like stage 1, you jump out of the airplane, you have a good idea, you're building the parachute on the way down. It's like, I think I can do this. I have no idea, but it sounds really awesome. And then at some point you're like, oh, holy shit, this worked.
Yeah.
And that's stage 2. And that's that's you're coming up, and you get the accolades, and you're in the press or whatever it is, and things are going well, the profits are increasing, and then at some point it plateaus where you're not just the profits necessarily, but more about like your personal passion for it.
Yeah.
And that's the spot where it's a stage 3 entrepreneur, and it's either you make this leap over this gorge, or you go back to the golden handcuffs and just do what you've always done, and your soul kind of slowly dies in the process, or you follow your heart, make this leap, and following your heart is frequently scary, but never wrong. And that's what I did. It was like about 11 years ago, I just kind of looked at my life, and I'm like, okay, am I happy? And would I be happy doing what I'm doing 10 years from now? And if I was really honest, the answer was no. And it was like outside looking in, had a hot sports car. I had upgraded by then to the Aston Martin. I had a great reputation in the digital marketing space, which isn't that easy to do. I was making a lot of money. And, my accountant was even asking me, like, how the hell are you doing this? And like, it's just, outside in, everything was great. But honestly, I thought I had a bigger purpose, a bigger impact that I can make. And it really forced me to look at, okay, what is it? What could it be?
It's pretty powerful. I have to agree with you. And so for me, that moment came about 7 years ago. And then it came again about 3 years ago, like 2.5 years ago. Then 7 years ago, unfortunately for me, it came in the darkest of times.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was out 1.7 million in debt, and I was forced to say, what just happened? And then 2.5 years ago, I was fine. I mean, I had a ton of money, but I was bored. I'm like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And that was I asked a question, by the way, and if you're watching or listening, we didn't talk about this. It's not like you told me to ask myself that question. So it's funny that every one of us seems to have this clock, because I asked the question, if I'm doing what I do right now in 10 years, am I going to be happy?
Yeah, 10 years is an interesting time period.
And let's face it, right?
And like, it goes by like this, too.
It does. And I've been doing this now for almost 16 years. I'm shocked.
Yeah,
right?
I've been an entrepreneur myself for going on 20 years.
And the truth is, net profit-wise, I make way less now today than I did 7-8 years ago, or more like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm so much happier.
Isn't that
Oh my God, I get up faster. I race out. I just love what I'm doing. But I asked a question, and to be honest, like the answer was heck no. And it comes quick, right? Like if you're listening, you ask yourself this question. If you're ready to live up to it, the answer comes real quick. Like your inside scream very, very clearly.
Yeah. And so I'm a big fan of journaling, right? And I teach journaling to entrepreneurs. I love it as a process. And so I do a lot you can do this in your journal. And even if you don't have a journal, pick up a 99-cent little spiral bound notebook or whatever. But if you stick that question at the top and just keep writing about it, and then even if you want to take it to another level, one of my friends, Bill Donius, he wrote a book called Thought Revolution. It's all about using your non-dominant hand. So you could use I'm right-handed, so you use your left hand and you'll write something else, and that comes from an even deeper place of wisdom. But so I spent that time writing in my journal about what would make me happy, and it came down to, hanging out with incredible entrepreneurs, doing awesome adventures, having a charity element, and having some fun. So it was like make more, give more, and have more fun. And so these are 3 interconnected circles, right? And that became Maverick. And I'm like, okay, this is it. This is my, my ultimate life thing is Maverick. And we started doing, it's a completely different business. I was in the information publishing space, content space, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna put on the very first adventure. It was a Baja Dune Buggy racing adventure. I have no idea how many people are gonna come. We got like 20 some people to come.
I still remember when you first
when
you announced
it. I put it out, and I'm like, oh, I have no idea. But it was really interesting. Like one of my buddies, Corey Rudel, who now got into a tragic car accident.
Godfather of internet marketing.
Yeah, I don't remember what year that was. It might have been maybe 12 years ago now.
It was right after I met him at your event.
Yeah, at the birthday bash.
Months after that.
At the birthday bash.
In DC, you did an event.
Oh, in DC he came. Oh, so he came to Underground. Right, he came to Underground.
Yeah.
And so Corey was one of my favorite people, and he took me Baja Dune Buggy racing, and I went with one of my other buddies, and he's raced every single thing, cars, tracks, everything. He's almost like a semi-pro racer. And he's like, this is the most fun I've ever had. I'm like, cool, that sounds awesome, let's do it. And it was in Mexico, in Baja, Mexico, and you'd race up and down the Baja Peninsula in these amazing like dune buggies that are like $150,000 dune buggies that would go over anything. And he almost killed us. It was actually kind of funny, kind of not funny, where we're like screwing around and then coming back onto the highway because we were late, and all of a sudden this like semi truck came bearing down on us, and he like jams on the brakes, and we stop right before the highway. I'm like, dude, that wouldn't have been fun. That would have been two major internet marketers done in one fell swoop, and slightly prophetic that he died in a racing accident not that far after that. But after that trip, it really was the kind of a bit of a catalyst to start Maverick Business Adventures. And so I believe in, and this is like a key element if you're taking notes, is like you plant the flag, right? Plant the flag and go do it. So for me, it was January, whatever that date was, in 2008. I'm like, okay, we're doing this trip. I put down a bunch of money as a deposit. I also wanted to get a celebrity icon there. And I'm like, okay, we're going to make this happen. I had no clue how to make that happen. Oh. And I had no clue how many spots we're going to sell, what it was going to look like. But we got like 24, 26 people there, and got Jesse James, the motorcycle mogul guy, to come in. And it was an amazing trip. And it was like, I thought, okay, great. But this is the start of something really cool. It kind of matched everything. We did a mentor session with these young kids in a local school in Mexico, teaching them about entrepreneurship. It hit all the elements. We did amazing business sessions with people out of the classroom, and then fast forward about $400,000 in, my wife's like, so what the hell are you doing? I'm like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know for sure, but there's something here, and it's like my passion for it kind of overshadowed my pragmatic aspect of is this a business or not, and then my passion was completely waning on the internet marketing side. Like I was checked out because that wasn't my passion necessarily anymore. Like I wanted to do this. There was something more to it. But what it really forced me to do, you talk about these dark times, and that was an interesting dark time for sure, because as entrepreneurs, so many times our identities are so wrapped up into our identities with work, right? Our net worth is connected to our worth is connected to our net worth, essentially. Yeah. But it shouldn't be, right? If we can disconnect that, and it forced me to really have to disconnect it, and it forced me to look at, okay, so what is going on here? Like, did I want to build an adventure travel company? No, my real mission was never to do that. It was, now our mission is changing the way business is played. And it really forced me to look at, okay, we're just building an adventure travel company here, and there's something more. So that's when I went back and again in my journal asked my question, and this is one of my favorite questions, which is, what would your 111-year-old self tell you? And so I had kind of cribbed that from a guy who wrote Philosopher's Notes, and he asked what would your 110-year-old self tell you? And I think he cribbed that from someone else, but I love the alliteration of 111. Yeah. And then so I also used my left hand for this, and it was to light 1,000 suns who could light another 1,000 suns. And that's when, I really changed the name of the group to Maverick 1000. We changed our real trajectory of what we were doing. It's much more about growth and evolving yourself. How do you make a difference in the world individually through your company, and how do you make a difference collectively through our talent and resources and network? And then same thing, how do you still have fun in the process? So the essence of what I put out there before was really remarkably similar, but the expression of it had changed, and that's when things actually started finally working a bit more.
That's incredible. And that's a lot. So it's funny because my next round was, what do you do today? But you got beautifully into that. And I didn't know that story. I didn't actually know. I just thought 1,000 was a random number you pulled out, because it did. I remember going from Maverick to Maverick 1000.
Yeah.
I remember being on the other side watching that that transpire. And I find interesting, so I can actually fess up this to you because I've never told you before, but when you were doing this, I remember thinking to myself, I think Yanik has lost it.
Which part, the adventure piece or the...
Just walking away.
Why did you leave?
This rip of a Band-Aid, it didn't make sense to me because I was still knee deep in that. And I was like, what is he doing? But then I did know, I'm like, whatever it is, he seems really happy, because we'd run into each other every now and then randomly at some place. But I just didn't get it. And it's funny, over the last year and a half, the question I get the most from even the most successful marketers right now is, what the heck are you doing? Because they don't get what is this? Why have I built this 26,000 square foot facility? Why? And the actual answer is, I don't really know. But I love walking in here every day.
There's something that has been compelling you to do it, and I don't think we have to know. I think we just really need to be, the more we can get in alignment, I call it, when you start aligning your head, which is your business smarts. Like, you can't abandon your business smarts, your marketing smarts, all those things. It's not like, okay, I'm going to turn that off. And for a while, when I sort of walked away from the internet marketing space, I thought, okay, I'm just going to walk away from all of it. But you have to use every part of what brought you here to really fulfill what your ultimate purpose is. And so you're aligning your head, your heart, which is the impact that you want to make in the world, and then your highest purpose. Like, you put all of that in alignment, like, then really good things start happening. And that's when you're in, synchronicities occur, magic occurs, like relationships show up, and things just show up, and you don't even have to know why or what, or you just have to continue following just a greater instinct.
There was, absolutely. And so to answer that question, again, if someone asked me today, I can't, but there was a moment at the center a week ago, one of our team members ended up taking a few minutes to coach or mentor one of our Learn Center members. And thanks to the guidance they gave for 10 minutes, the next day that member came back and said, I just closed my first client and I did what you said. And when that message echoed down back to me, that was it. I said, see, that's what I'm doing. Like, that's why I did this, but how do I express that to someone in short notes?
Yeah, those ripples of impact. I mean, that's why I love, this 1,000 suns who can light another 1,000 suns. Like, to me, it's all about, okay, could we nudge the people that, instigate the instigators, catalyze the catalysts, connect the connectors. That's what I'm intrigued by.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.